Lord Tremendous here, and I got another battle report for you. Battle report number 89. This is a 4,500 point battle. 'Tis I, Lord Tremendous of the Ogre Cons, versus Peter Reese of the Dwarven Holds. Pete was on his way to Buckeye Battles, which was awesome from what I've heard. And on his way up there, he asked if he could swing by and get in a game, and I was more than excited to play against him. So, a man of his word, he showed up to my local game store. We met, shook hands, and he proceeded to try to kick the teeth out of my head, which, well, you're about to see how well that went for him. This was his Buckeye Battle list. No spoilers because he's already played, and you can already find out how he did on any, I think it's the results are posted all over the interwebs. But real cool guy, real cool army, and it's against Dwarven Holds, which I don't always get to face, hardly ever actually. So this is an excellent game. Sit back, relax, and get ready to see how it goes. Here's my list, and there are a bunch of changes because I had to chop off 500 points off my regular list. And I kind of did it at the last minute, so it's not super well thought out, but you know what? There was a thought process. I have a Mammoth Hunter, Blackshade. He's my general. He's got his Ogre Crossbow, Iron Fist, Bluffer's Helm, Talisman of Shielding. He's got the Wild Heart Big Name, and he's on a Tusker. He's a tank. Not really there for offense, mostly there for defense. Of course, I brought my Mammoth Hunter, Khan. He's got his Ogre Crossbow, he's my BSB, he's got the Heart Ripper, Yeti Furs, and a big name Troll Eater. Of course, I have my Shaman, Skaz, who's got 4 learned spells, the Dragonfire Gem, and uses the Path of Thaumaturgy. And then I have my OG Mammoth Hunter, Lord Tremendous. He's got his Ogre Crossbow, the Obsidian Blade, the Armor of Fortune, the big name Headhunter, and he's on his trusty Tusker, the War Teddy. Oh yeah. In core, I have a unit of 8 tribesmen, the good old boys. They have full command, Iron Fist, and the Banner Discipline. And then to core off my core choices, I've got 2 units of Scraplings. The Randos are a 16-man unit with Musician and Bows, and the Scrap Pack is a 15-man unit with Musician and Bows. I needed the points to flesh out my core choice, make the minimum, so 1 unit got +1. In my special choices, I start off with a Saber-Tooth Tiger, Bow Wowzer. You know I brought my 6 Scrapling Trappers, the favored pets. I brought 3 Tusker Cav, the Fat and the Furious, with great weapons, banner, and a war standard. And then I have 5 Yeti, with no upgrades whatsoever, because I couldn't afford it. Starting off my Chain Beast category, I had to downgrade him, but I have my Rock-a-Rock Warghammer. And the rider with lance is none other than Shyhammer. Still very dangerous, just no magic gear. I didn't have the points at 4,500. Cuts had to be made. And then the real star of my army, my Frost Mammoth, Rufus! There's a couple of Ogre Crossbows on the guys he carries around on his back, but he is definitely the star of my army. That's going to do it for my army. I'm going to post my opponent's army, play some music. Feel free to pause it whenever you like to see what he took. Here are my spells, which are exactly what you're looking at. And here's deployment. Now, we started off, I actually won to roll for sides. He won to roll for sides. I I chose for him to deploy first, something like that. He put one unit down, I put a couple down, then he put one down, I put one down. We went back and forth, and then eventually I got bored of the back and forth and just threw the rest of my army down. I really wanted to see where he was going to put his seekers, so I could put my scraplings across from him and try to shoot him and do as much damage as I could before I had to fight him in close combat. Not the smartest move in the world because they're behind a hill and neither scrapling can see them right now, but not every move I make is intelligent. I have my rock over on the right flank as well to hopefully crash into him once I've done some damage and maybe wipe the unit out with impact hits before I have to worry about him. I was running behind to meet up with Pete, so I forgot a model. I forgot a Black Shade model, my general. So the big scary Tyrannosaurus Rex on a chariot base, that's going to be Black Shade for this game. The base is legal. I just screwed up and forgot the model. So there's my general, the good old boys, Bow Wowzer, Rufus, and Skaz on the center right there. I put them there kind of in the end along with the Fat and the Furious. Just they're going to shoot up the middle and hit whatever they can. It's dwarves, so I really need to work an advantageous multi-charge in order to really do any damage to them because dwarves are so tough. They're literally like, it's like they're made of rock or something. I've got the Yeti with Khan in the, on the left side there, right next to Lord Tremendous, and I got my trappers running up the left flank to try to kill or something as best they can. And really, that's it for deployment. Here's top of one after movement, and I know dwarves are slow when it comes to charging. I know they can triple march, but charging they're still 3 or 4 inches plus. So I felt more or less confident moving up as strong as I did. I did move the Tusker Cav up forward as much as I could because I honestly didn't think he was going to his shooting was going to be that tough. I know that guild crafted handgunners are right there. I know the volley gunners right there, but I was banking on toughness 5 and a 3-up armor save to get me through it. Plus, I kept Rufus close enough to him that I could get Howling Winds or Chilling Howl or something like that off on him to make him +1 to wound or -1 to wound against him, however you want to look at it. Make him harder to wound. So I thought, you know what? They're effectively going to be toughness 6 with a 3-up armor save. I should be able to weather their attacks, and then I can charge into that hill, take out the guild, take out the volley gun, whatever I think the bigger threat is. Meanwhile, the Yetis and the BSB are set up real nice with Lord Tremendous, and maybe even Rufus on the side to deal with the big unit of a dwarf infantry with his general in there. That was the idea. You'll see what happens. With the character, my general, I'm an idiot. I should have moved him over to the left. I didn't. I moved him over to the right to support the rock and the scrappling, or just really stupid maneuvering on my part, but what can you do? And everybody else in the middle, I kept the good old boys back a little bit because I didn't fully remember how fast the Slayers move, and I really don't want to see those guys in combat because of a lucky 10+ inch charge. That's it for movement. Nothing else happens. My magic is dispelled, no problem, and my shooting is a joke. So we go over here to bottom of one after movement, and my opponent kind of consolidates. Is big horde brick moves down towards the Fat and the Furious. His seekers move over towards the center. Everything kind of converges towards the middle, and that sucks because on the right flank I'm super out of position now. On the left flank I'm okay. In the center, I'm a little too far back to really capitalize on everything. It's a dangerous position for me to be in. But I did it to myself. My opponent is starting to outplay me, and I need to up my game. That's it for movement, though. During his magic phase, his Anvil of Doom fires off Storm or something like that on my Saber-Tooth Tiger, and Bow Wowzer gets beat to death. It was a gamble. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do it, but he rolled high, and then he rolled average, and then Bow Wowzer rolled over on his back. It was sad, but smart move on my opponent, stupid move by me. Then we go into shooting, and oh my God, his guild-crafted handgunner guys open fire on the Tuskers. I did get the Chilling Howl thing off from Rufus on them, making them just a little bit more difficult to wound. And as you can see, he did 6 wounds. I'm sorry, 6 wounds got through on my Tusker Cav. It was painful. My jaw was on the ground. I expected at max to lose one Tusker Cav, maybe. My math was way off. Math has never been a strong suit of mine, but holy crap, he beat that unit almost to death. And then it gets worse. The volley gun opens fire and does just a couple of wounds. Almost kills the entire unit with shooting. Now I know dwarven combat or dwarven shooting is good. I know that, but I really, really expected it to maybe kill one Tusker, maybe put a wound or two on another. I never thought I'd lose two, let alone almost the entire unit. I was very impressed. And yes, my opponent will tell you he did roll out of the box, but very well played by my opponent. Totally called my bluff. The Tusker Cav do make their panic check, but oh my god. I've got one wound left on him, which should be enough to take out his engineer, maybe his volley gun, but man, that is not what I thought was going to happen. Well played by my opponent. Mercifully, I should say, there's no combat. So we go over here to top of two. And really the only thing I got is my Tusker Cav that's dead anyway. It charges into his engineer who stands and takes the hit. And I make it. Yay! My Rock on the right flank, I charge him into the little unit of 10 warriors. They flee, but they only flee like snake eyes. Literally like 2 or 3 inches. And the Rock makes it. I think I rolled like a 10 or 11 and caught him dead, caught him and then made his leadership check to turn in any direction I wanted. So that's pretty good. I could possibly hit the Seekers, I could possibly hit the other unit of warriors. We'll see what happens. We'll see where I feel they need to go. Other than that, I kind of backed off a little bit. I bulked. I should have stayed aggressive. I'm not used to fighting dwarves. I know I do play Infernal Dwarves occasionally, but I don't know, different shade of dwarf confused me. So the scraplings on the right flank moved up to try to start shooting at the Seekers because that's really what I want to do. The good old boys, I think, stayed right where they were. Rufus moved up slightly. The Yetis and my BSB shifted over to the right. Skaz went behind the hill there to fire off magic. And Lord Tremendous ran over to the left side there because I didn't feel like getting countercharged. Really stupid on a lot of points there. I really played this way too cowardly, and I'm mad at myself, but we were having a good time. I'd never played this guy before, and I don't play dwarves very often, so I'm going to give myself a little bit of leeway, but I'm still going to come down to myself kind of like an anvil, because I'm kind of abusive to myself that way. That's really it for movement. There's a better picture of my Tusker making it into his engineer, and hopefully I'm able to kill him and then overrun into the volley gun and maybe do 3 wounds on impact hits to the gun before I get countercharged by the gunners and the general's unit and he gets massacred. Oh, that was supposed to go so much differently. And there's a better picture of the Hammer Brothers catching that unit of 10 warriors and massacring them. Once again, nothing happens in magic or shooting, so we go straight into we go into combat, and impact hits and combat, I'm able to kill off his engineer. Luckily for me, his engineer is mostly naked, so it wasn't hard. Yay, at least I'm not going to get goose-egged in this game. Everything around me makes its panic check no problem. I overrun. I hit the volley gun, and like I said, I'm just hoping to do some impact hits to this thing before it's all over. We'll see what happens. Well, I know what happens. You'll see what happens. Here's bottom of 2 after movement, and just like you thought it was going to happen, the general's unit slams into the flank of the Tusker. I may do a few wounds of damage to the volley gun, but I'm going to lose my Tusker, and at this point, I kind of know it's gone, so I'm just trying to get any kind of damage out of it that I can before the game is over. Other than that, the rest of his dwarves more or less stay where they're at on the left and center. On the right flank, his Seekers pass their march check and get in front of my hammers, and his unit of 10 guys go behind him just so that they're safe. Now, I toy with the idea going into them. I have not been able to put any damage into these dwarves yet. So if I charge and I do anything less than 9 wounds to him, my Rock is going to get murdered. He's got a character in there that's got like 15 attacks that all do D12 wounds and all that other garbage. So, I mean, if I send him in there, all I'm going to do is probably cull some of the dwarves before I get murdered. And I'm rolling like raw ass. So, I'm really not feeling it right now. So many decisions to make. But that's really it for his movement. There's been a picture of the dwarves running into my Tusker Calf, and really they're just trying to put the poor guy out of his misery. During the magic phase, his anvil of power is able to do a couple of wounds to the Yeti. I actually let this one go off to try to stop the rest of his stuff, which I do. But the Yetis do end up taking a couple of wounds for, my trouble, I guess, which sucks, but, it was going to happen. Then into the shooting phase, it's just amazing. The handgunners fire at the Yetis, finishing off 2, and then the cannon fires at Rufus, doing 2 wounds to him. Not nearly as devastating as what they did to the Tusker Calf, but this was the kind of damage I was expecting them to output. Not let's murder off almost 3 Tusker Calf with insane rolls. So, little irony, we were actually laughing about it a little bit. Oh, sure, now his rolls are cooling off when it's too late, but it is what it is. The guy gambled and won, and I gambled and lost. That's why I should never go back to Vegas. We go into combat, and yeah, I'm able to do 2 or 3 wounds to the volley gun. It's still alive and well, and yeah, I think just his general walks over, pokes him in the eye, and knocks over my remaining Tusker Calf. He was on his last leg anyway. He was just getting me as many points as he could before he shuffled off his mortal coil. Well played, opponent. Well played. With that over, we go over here to top of 3 after movement, and I'm starting to realize that I'm really playing like ass. So I decide to take that ass just a little bit further, and I gamble. I want to take out his general. I really, really want to. I think that would be super cool and very beneficial. And I want to try to do it with my BSB. So I send Lord Tremendous and the BSB out of the Yetis to charge his general's unit. Lord Tremendous makes it no problem. Khan does not. Khan's like, screw that. I don't want to die. I was relying on his 4-up regen save to get him through the combat against his general. Now that I know what he can do, I figured a 4-up ward, toughness 5, 4-up ward, I should be able to weather most of what he throws at me and hopefully survive long enough to throw my 5 lethal blow attacks at him and maybe cut him down. Lord Tremendous does not have that. And I mean, yeah, he could cut through his armor, but his general does have a 4-up ward, so I was nervous. And yeah, the Khan doesn't even make it. Lord Tremendous is dead, man. Khan goes forward, is 2 inches or whatever it is. It's ridiculous how short he ran. And I'm screwed. Lord Tremendous is dead. Khan's out in the open. Might as well just put a big bullseye on his face and say, aim here, like he's a porn star or something. Just made me sick. So the Yetis move over to the left because they don't want to be overran into after his general's unit smashes my BSB to death. Rufus moves up a little bit. The good old boys move up a little bit to try to maybe get an angled attack or charge off on the Seekers. I decide not to charge my Hammer Brothers into the Seekers because I just wasn't ready to lose another awesome model. And the Scraplings have to march once again to get into range to see the Seekers, but since they march, they can't shoot. And my dumbass, still not knowing what to do with my general, move him from the right to the left, to the right, to the left, back to the left now. I'm embarrassed now that I'm watching this report. We were having a lot of fun. It was really cool to meet this guy. We're joking around, we're talking, we're having a good time. I had a blast, but I'm looking at my play right now, and dude must think I'm basically retarded. I mean, he must have looked at me and been like, wow, I didn't realize you should be wearing a helmet. Because that's what I'm starting to think. I was thinking I should probably be fitted for one. That's it for movement. There's been a picture of my gamble really paying off for the dwarves. I basically gave them, the dwarves, both Lord Tremendous and Khan. You know what? When you drive all the way out to my LGS to play me in a friendly game, I am going to give back. And that's what I did here. I gave up Lord Tremendous and Khan. 2 for 0. I mean, it doesn't get any better. You're welcome. You know what? He never said thank you. Never once. I'm going to cry. In the magic phase, Skaz wakes up and gets Wrath of God off, and I put it right on War Machine Hill. Not because I expect to do a whole lot, but, well, maybe take out the volley gun. But if I can put damage on his anvil, on his cannon, on his handgunners, on anything that's nearby, even his general's unit, then it's all worth it. It's cool. I don't really need to control the movement phase because they're kind of slow unless, they're marching. I know. But this one was, I planted it right there to 2 damage. If he runs away from it, so be it. However, nothing that I cast is ever free. I miscast 12 on 6 dice. I cast it with 5. Of course, I rolled 6s because, you know, it's you got a better chance when you roll 5 dice at it. And since it's thaumaturgy, it's +1, so miscast 12. I got lucky. That could have been a lot worse. But not too much worse because I get 3 out of his 4 wounds put on him. In fairness, I guess it was strength 6 to his toughness 5. He should be dead, but it is what it is. Skaz at least got the spell off, and I play him fast and loose for a reason, so I'm not really upset or surprised. In the shooting phase, my trappers throw a bunch of rotten produce at the Dwarven Warriors over there and actually kill a guy with one. Bananas can be sharp when they're rotten, apparently. And then over here, Rufus takes a couple of pot shots at the... what's it called? Oh gosh, the volley gun. Sorry, I completely brain farted there. And puts the second to last wound on him, so it's got 1 wound left. Almost killed it clean out. That's Rufus, though. That's why he's a star to show. Done with embarrassing myself outside of combat, we go into combat. I think I slip a single wound through on his general. In return, his general beats 3/4 of the life out of Lord Tremendous. I've got charge and a flank to 1, 2, 3 wounds, 1, 2 ranks, standard, BSB, possibly something else. I lose by 5 or 6, which is super painful. I'm just thrilled that Lord Tremendous isn't dead. I break and I run away. Luckily for me, his general's unit decides to restrain. They pass their leadership check and Lord Tremendous gets away. He even said, though, when he did it, he goes, oh man, that's going to come back and bite me in the ass. And I was thinking the same thing, like that might come back and bite you in the ass, because even if he did pursue him and gave me a flank and a rear charge with the 3 remaining Yetis and maybe Khan, if they're still there after your next turn, probably still go his way. Not that I wouldn't take it, just, you know, he'd probably be okay. But that wasn't what he decided to do, and now everything else is dead. Maybe I'll get lucky and Lord Tremendous will rally. We'll see what happens. That brings us over to bottom 3 after moving, and as I promised, his general's unit slams into Khan. I did stand and shoot because what was the point in fleeing, and I missed because life is fair. His unit on the left flank there charges the trappers. They stand and shoot, and I think they kill another one, to be honest with you. The trappers are always on point. Other than that, in the middle, his stuff kind of consolidates once again, which I thought was interesting. He moves his stuff closer to where the Wrath of God is going to come down. Really found that interesting. He does not go after my Rock like I thought he was going to. Instead, he kind of sacrifices his little 10-man unit of warriors for the Rock's charge because I have to overrun. I'll go off the table. And then, yeah, he can deal with me however he sees fit. Sure, but he's got... I don't know. I just figured he would take me down right away. He didn't. Maybe I can capitalize on that. Other than that, that's really it for his movement. There's a picture of his general and his unit slamming into Khan, and you know, I'd be upset about it if Khan hadn't deserved that, leaving Tremendous to just flounder and die. So yeah, this is his comeuppance. And there's a picture of his Dwarven Warriors slamming into the trappers, and that's probably going to go bad for them, but better them than them hitting Lord Tremendous when he's currently running away. During his magic phase, he used the anvil to destroy Skaz. Well, I mean, put the last wound on him anyway. I was stupid here. I got greedy. I wanted to keep him up close so I could try to blast some more spells off just so I could stay in range. When really the only spell I needed to be cast right now was Wrath of the Gods, and I was dumb. My opponent saw me being dumb, capitalized on it, and capped my wizard. Damn. You know, Pete's good. He catches every mistake I'm making. Not that it's hard. I'm making them left and right, but he's catching them all, and he's capitalized on them. You got to respect a good opponent. In the shooting phase, his cannon takes careful aim at my general that I have used horribly this game. Shoots, hits, wounds, does 3 wounds to him, no problem. Yes, he was able to re-roll his wound, go figure, needing a 2, and he maxed out his wounds, so yeah. That sucks. What can you do? He earned it. I'm playing like ass. Oh well. Next, his handgunners fire at the Yeti and are able to kill one and get 2 wounds off on the other one, which it leaves this unit with like 4 left and a big old bullseye on their foreheads. And then his volley gun opens up and finishes off the Yeti. Ah, Didn't do anything with my Yeti either. I have played about as awful as I've ever played with my army, and Pete is just tearing me apart, and he's good. This is like the worst guy you want to play terrible against because he's so good. I'm not having a bad time. We're laughing, we're having a good time. I'm just frustrated with myself for playing as bad as I am. I wish I could have given him a better game, but it's looking like he's enjoying himself. He's certainly enjoying me picking up all my models because he won't stop making me do it. Far from done kicking my ass, we go into combat, and the dwarves attack! And they attack apparently with their eyes closed and their noses turned up because they only kill one trapper. In return, my trappers kill a guy back. He's got charge and a wound to wound. He wins by 1, and believe it or not, I make my break check. My trappers have done more than my Yetis and my general and just about everything else in my army. God, I love trappers. Over here, Khan issues a challenge, his general accepts, and his general proceeds to put 3 wounds through on Khan. Didn't kill him, but, who doesn't like to play with their food? In return, I'm able to get some wounds on the general, but he makes his ward saves, and it's like nothing happened. He's got charge, 3 wounds, multiple ranks, banner, and just dwarfy goodness to my BSB. I lose, I think I auto-break, and my opponent pursues, catches Khan. I know it looks like he made it. He did not. He died, and he slams into Rufus. If things went any more his way, I'd have given him 20 bucks. With that, here is top of 4 after movement, and there's really not a ton. I finally say to hell with it and send the rock into the dwarves. I know I'm going to hit them, I know I'm going to ruin them, I know I'm going to overrun off the table and get killed when I come back on, but honestly, I'm just tired of being cautious. I thought about going into the Seekers, but I wanted points. I needed something. So I went into the little dwarves. I know it's like 80 points, but at this point, I'll take whatever points I can get, because I want to see how many points I can say points in one sentence points. Excellent. Lord Tremendous rallies, the good old boys and the useless general turn to face the general's unit because we all know what's going to happen with Rufus, and the scraplings stay put because they're going to try to put some sort of damage on the Seekers. That's it for movement. There's a better picture of the Hammer Brothers slamming into the dwarves, and you know what? At least some dwarves are going to die. I feel good about that. During his magic phase, nothing actually happens during his phase, but at the end of it, the Wrath of the Gods comes down, and I roll really well for the amount of hits. The anvil takes 6 or 7, the cannon takes like 9. No, I'm sorry, the cannon takes 6, the handgunners take 9, the dwarves up there take 8, and the Seekers take 12. I box-carded on the dwarves. So I'm really excited about this because this is exactly what I was hoping would happen. The Wrath of Gods would come down, and I'd be able to kill a whole bunch of these dwarves, and maybe give myself an opening to start doing something with. And then I roll for damage. Not the best rolling I've ever done, to say the least. His anvil takes a single wound. His cannon takes like 2, maybe 3. The handgunners take a lot of wounds. They take 9. The little unit of dwarven warriors take 6, and the Seekers take 10. The Seekers and the handgunners, I couldn't really ask for anything more. The anvil and the cannon, I could have asked for a lot more. And the dwarves, I didn't really care. I'd have taken 1, I'd have taken 10, didn't care. So not my best rolling for wounds. I mean, I rolled a lot of 1s and 2s, which was kind of depressing. But all in all, it was much better than anything else I'd done this game. And at least they're bloodied now. We go into combat, and of course, the Hammer Brothers have no problem killing 10 piddly-ass little dwarves. They don't take any wounds for their trouble. In combat over here, the dwarves kill another trapper. I'm not able to kill anything in return, because they must have killed a guy with murder in his heart. I lose by 1, but lightning does not strike twice. The trappers break, they get pursued, they get run down, and the dwarves are right in front of Lord Tremendous, which means he's going to see combat next turn. Sorry about that. This isn't terrible because Lord Tremendous should be able to take on the dwarves, and with Headhunter, if I can kill some guys with Lord Tremendous, I can start healing wounds, 1 a combat, so this might work out for me. It might. I'm feeling cautiously optimistic about it. And then over here, Rufus gets obliterated. I put every single attack into his BSB. Every single one. And the dice god said, no bitch, not today. Rufus was able to slip 1 wound through on him before the dwarves got to strike. And they beat him into bloody bits. Oh, the dice gods giveth, and the dice gods taketh away. And, yeah, he's outplaying me, so that doesn't help either. Still, I hate seeing Rufus leave the table. Because my opponent's not an idiot, he overruns and hits the good old boys and my general, because I lined them up, just for that reason. And, you know what? Might as well keep the combats going. I do love a good close combat, even if I am on the shit end of the stick. So, believe it or not, that was my turn. Here's bottom before after movement, and there's not a ton. Well, there's a little bit. On the left flank there, the warriors charge into the flank of Lord Tremendous, make it no problem. His seekers split up. The character goes to the right. The two in the unit go to the left to take out the Hammer Brothers when they come back in. The handgunners, cannon, and anvil turn to face Lord Tremendous, and the other warriors come down the middle to secure the objective, which is the middle of the table. That's it for movement. There's a better shot of his Dwarven warrior slamming into the flank of Tremendous, and this, I'm like 70% sure I've got. In his magic phase, his anvil casts something on the scraplings. He casts a couple of things. I stopped some. This is the one that got through, and he kills 5 scraplings. He just wanted to force the panic check, which is super intelligent. I actually pass it, which shocked the hell out of me. But yeah, I'm down 5 scraplings, and I find that insanely rude. We go into combat, and his warriors aren't able to do anything Lord Tremendous. In return, Lord Tremendous isn't able to do anything to them. I rolled a hit, and I flub in spectacular fashion. However, the wonderful Tusker Mount War Teddy is able to beat the crap out of 2 of them. I don't think he does anything with his stomp. So 2 of his dwarves die, so I got 2 to his charge flank, super flank. I lose by 1, and I'm able to make my break check, which is outstanding. Thank God the War Teddy knows how to fight. Combat over here goes much, much worse. My general, of course, is in combat with his general in a challenge and gets evaporated like he never existed, which is fine. I might as well have left him at home because God knows he didn't do anything in this game. Not his fault, completely mine. I blame society. The good old boys, they get all their attacks, right? All their attacks. Yeah. Does that brick look wounded to you at all? It's because it's not. I think maybe 2 or 3 of his dwarves die. In return, 6 ogres die. I haven't seen him do that bad in combat in a long time. I lose this combat by 4,000 points. We counted twice to be sure. My opponent decides to pursue, but he doesn't want his dwarves to step in all the piss and poop that have come out of the 2 remaining ogres, and they stop far, far short of catching them. We get away, not with our dignity though. We're below 25%, and we're fleeing. So I'm at like leadership 4 with them right now. They're not gonna rally, which is a shame. They're also below 25%, so if I don't rally him, he's gonna get full points. Life isn't fair. Life just isn't fair. So, because we have to, here's top of 5 after movement. I have none. The good old boys continue to flee. The scraplings stay right where they're at because I want to try to put as many wounds or many shots into his character seeker as I can, with the hope of killing him before he can kill the Hammer Brothers. And that's it. Everything else I have is deader in combat. With nothing else to do, we go straight into combat, and he's not able to do anything to me. I'm able to kill 1 of his dwarves with the War Teddy yet again. So 1 wound to flank and super flank. He wins by 1. I make my break check. I cannot turn to face him because I take models out of combat, and we move on. So here's bottom of 5 after movement, and there's a tiny bit of combat, or a tiny bit of movement anyway. His general's unit with they charge the good old boys, force him to flee further, and then he redirects into the scraplings. The scraplings, I decide to stay. I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? And I was right. The dwarves just weren't feeling it. They didn't want to step in the puddles, so they failed their charge and buy the scraplings 1 more turn to do whatever the hell they think they're going to do. Meanwhile, the Seeker character and the Seekers charge into the Hammers, making a neat little sandwich, and then his little brick of 4 Dwarven warriors move up to secure the objective. That is it for his movement. There's a better picture of the good old boys running away, and the General's unit failing a charge into the scraplings. And there's a better picture of all the remaining Seekers getting to beat the ever-loving tar out of poor Hammer Brothers. Pretty much due to necessity, we go straight into combat, and finally, 3 rounds into combat, Lord Tremendous wakes the hell up and single-handedly kills 3 dwarves. Ward Teddy kills a 4th, and the remaining guy can't do anything to me. I win this combat, he makes his break check, and I turn to face him. I won by like 3 and he rolled a 5, which I think is exactly what he needed, or the max that he needed. So, hell of a roll by my opponent. I do roll for a Headhunter, and it doesn't work, because that's the way I roll, baby. That's the way I roll. Then over here, the Ninja Slayer character, Dragon Seeker, whatever the hell he is, he does this weird Jet Li, Bruce Lee, Captain America thing where he just jumps up and lops all the limbs off of all the parts, single-handedly killing Shyhammer and Warhammer without even breaking a sweat. This guy, they will be singing poems about him for years. Myrtleated the Rock and the Rider without hesitation, and then he stood triumphantly to get his picture taken with his kill. That guy would be a great Safari guy. With the table mostly barren, we go into top of 6 after movement, and I don't have any, like, at all. Well, that's not true. The good old boys continue to flee. They fail their rally check. They flee to the edge of the table, but it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to give them a chance to rally them. They're fleeing, and below 25% at the end of the game. My opponent's getting full points for them. Tremendous is in combat, and the Scraplings are staying put so I can volley fire into his character Seeker, try to get myself some sweet, sweet points before the end of the game, and that's it for movement. In the shooting phase, both units of Scraplings fire into the Seeker character and get 2 wounds throughout him. I just missed killing the bastard. Oh, I thought I had him. Gotta love Scraplings, though. You know, even when you're getting your butt kicked, they pull off something like that and just raise the morale a little bit. Granted, the bar was on the ground, but... I'm kidding. We're having a good time. I was perfectly fine with this. This was a fun game, and stuff like this happening just makes me giggle. We go into combat, and Lord Tremendous is able to finish off the last dwarf. I did make a mistake last round of combat. I did heal a wound with Headhunter, and then after I killed the dwarf with Lord Tremendous in this combat, I was able to heal another one. So he's only got 1 wound on him with 3 left. Headhunter is a powerful tool. I like it a lot. And Lord Tremendous survived. I'm super impressed. Here's bottom of 6 after movement, and really the only movement worth reporting is the General's unit charges the closest unit of Scraplings. Scraplings say screw that and flee. They flee through the other unit of Scraplings, which also flee, and end up right there. They'll be fleeing at the end of the game, giving him half points, but I figured if I didn't do that, he'd get all the points. So yeah, I'm shortchanging about 100, but you know what? It's my 100 now, so there. Other than that, his unit of 4 dwarves get into the middle of the security objective, the Seekers stay where they're at, and everything else pretty much stays where it's at. That's it for movement. There's been a picture of his generous units scaring away the Scraplings, and let's face it, with all the ogre blood and various other fluids all over that unit, they would terrify just about anyone at this point. Nothing happens in the magic phase really, so in the shooting phase, everything that can unloads on Lord Tremendous, and he ends up taking another wound, which is fine. He survives, and to be perfectly honest with you, we were both surprised about that. The way this game was going, I figured one handgunner would do like 3 wounds to him or something crazy. He survives! Survives! And there it is. There's the end of the game. As you can see, I got thoroughly thunderstomped, and my opponent is damn good. I said it right there. I was like, this list is, I'm not used to playing dwarves. This list is rock solid, and I predicted right then and there that he was going to do well at the tournament because he was going to Buckeye Battles. This was an excellent game. My opponent played it beautifully. I made a ton of mistakes, but man, my opponent caught every one, didn't fall for any of my BS, and just took it to me. And that's awesome. I mean, he came into my house, beat my ass, and we shook hands afterwards. He even gave me a couple of his dice. He's got a pair of coveted I beat Lord Tremendous dice that only a lot of people have, but you know, he really earned this pair, and I couldn't have asked for a better game. We're going to get right into the recap, though, because this game is over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
As I'm sure you could tell, this was an immense defeat for Lord Tremendous. I only got 1,035 points out of him. He ended up getting 4,561 points out of me for a difference of 3,526 points. Dude took me to task. I lost everything except for Lord Tremendous and half points for both units of Scraplings. Whoo! Hey, you know what? I didn't get tabled. I'll hold on to that small victory. Peter beat my candy ass. It was like he had trained his whole life to do it, and it all came to fruition on this game. Wonderful guy to play against, though. I mean, the whole time, upbeat, having a good time, smiling, laughing, joking, even pointed some stuff out. I mean, dude is a wonderful guy to play against. His army is rock solid, pun! And I actually feel a little bad for anyone else to play against it, because it's going to be a difficult fight. I predicted that he would do very well at Buckeye Battles this year, and I'm anxious to see if I'm right. Well, I already know I'm right, or wrong, I guess, but I don't want to spoil anything for you, so go ahead and check him out on the lists and see how he did. Not sure if anybody noticed, but I feel that I made some mistakes in this game. Maybe like 1 or 2, 2.5. I had a lot of hesitation, and I couldn't get any momentum once I finally realized I had to shift into first gear. But I figured that out way too late, and it was too late. Still, should have been way more aggressive than I was, and all of my BS, all my stupid little tricks and everything like that, Peter wasn't having any of it. Didn't fall for one of them. I feel no shame in losing to Pete because he's this incredible opponent, but I feel a lot of shame in my play because I really, especially when you come from out of town and you're so cool and everything like that, that I want to give you the best game I can, and I just feel like I was off my game that day. Not that I think he minded winning. He seemed to enjoy it. I don't know. Still, enjoyed this game, and hopefully next time I face off against him, I can give him a little bit more of a challenge. But without a doubt, this was an outstanding game against an outstanding opponent, and honestly, I can't wait. I cannot wait for him to come back so we can get another game. I mean, even if he does kick my ass again, I would love to get another game against this guy. So anytime, buddy, you want to come back up here, I would love to get you for another game. Definitely need a rematch, to say the least. Thanks for coming up, man. Thanks for playing with me. That was entirely too much fun. Really enjoyed it. This is where I get to say thank you to everybody that supports me financially through Patreon, PayPal, and other means. I have many very generous donators, patrons, however you want to say it, but some of them wish to remain anonymous, and I respect that. But these are the individuals that allow me to thank them properly on my channel, and I intend to do so now. Alex of the Vale Renegades, South Florida's Gamermancy team, Daniel Jolson, and Caillou Choi. Thank you guys very much. I appreciate it, and I hope I continue to be worthy of your patronage. Well, it's official. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that don't care, and for everyone in between, I have gotten into 40K. My local game store and my group and everything like that have jumped into it. Still playing 9th Age and everything like that, but I put together a 1,000 Sons of Tremendous army, and here is just a taste of what they look like. One of the guys in my LGS is a commissioned painter. As you can see, he paints beautifully. And yes, the army is the same colors as my logo. Mostly. I do have some games. I do have some battle reports coming up with these guys. They are coming. They aren't going to take place of the 9th Age stuff. I will be doing them all, but I do want to expand the channel, and this is a good way to do it. So expect to see stuff like that. If you like it, awesome. If you don't like it, too bad. And if you're indifferent, well then, it doesn't affect you at all. You're all welcome. Hey, I'm excited about it. But that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it for Battle Report number 89. As always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can. But yeah, guys, thanks.